Yeah, when they finished, there was all kinds of crap in my pool. They cleaned it all out and ran it, so it will be literally all ready to go.
That's excellent.
Yeah. It's all right, they owe me a whole summer. God. Ah. You went to Isla, didn't you? Yeah, I thought so.
Mia.
Mia.
I don't know if you got anything from them, but that,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay, good, that's good. Al?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Good. Steven?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yep.
It looks like I get a
1,
priest call.
2,
Right?
3,
You do.
4, 5,
That's
6,
excellent.
7.
Look at that. Father Thomas,
Yeah.
how are you? look, on the camera, he looks like a priest. He does.
Oh, the people who know me, they-
This thing's gonna come down.
This table's rising.
that's my influence.
Exactly.
Are we ready?
We're ready.
Ready.
Sure.
The clock is not set.
Oh, that's right. The clock's not set yet.
Stand by.
The clock's not set. Stand by. The clock is not set.
Count 1, 2. Wait, no. Sound here. So, have you been to Villanova? You looked there? It's a beautiful
I
school.
haven't been to visit yet.
Beautiful school. Nice.
We've had quite a few people go there, too, over the years. Good basketball.
Yeah,
That's really important.
it is.
Football team too.
Yeah?
It's a great setting, too. It's really nice.
No, I've never been there.
Beautiful campus.
My in-laws live 20 minutes from there, so we go there a lot for walks. And
Sure.
Hello, welcome. I'm Steve Murray, principal of Chelmsford High School. We're here for December Students of the Month, and I'm here with our host, Al Thomas from the Rotary Club, and John McGeisig, Dean of Whittier House. As I said, we're here to celebrate our next Students of the Month, and we're here to start with Emerson House. And our first student of the month is Mia deMoulpied. Mia deMoulpied has a full schedule. She has AP Literature, AP Psychology, AP Research, and AP Calculus. She's the community chair for the National Honor Society, National English Honor Society. She's also the National Spanish Honor Society. She's in the CHS Color Guard, serving as a captain and future twirler. She's an AP scholar candidate and does AP Capstone. And she's competed at the Suburettes, earning a variety of solo awards that I'm dying to find out more about. And Mia's aspirations of studying biology, statistics, and hopefully looking at Boston College, Villanova, or University of Washington. So welcome. Congratulations.
Thank you for having me.
So what is the community chair for the National Honor Society? What is that position?
That's him. Sorry, that's not.
Oh, that's very nice. Well, so that's good. It's National English Honor Society. National English Honor Society. What are you working on there? Because there's about 155 of you in that English Honor Society.
Like in general?
Yeah, in general. So what did you do to earn that?
Like to be in it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think you had to have a certain grade point in English class for all 4 years, and then you got invited, and then.
And you've been several of them, which is great. Spanish Honor Society. What is the in terms of what the Suburbanettes? What is that and the Solos Awards?
So Suburbanettes is the baton studio that I'm a part of. It's similar to a dance studio where you go and you take classes multiple times a week. And I'm involved in multiple classes, both a solo, duet, and multiple team classes. And then we also compete in local contests. And then I've also been fortunate enough to be able to compete in state contests and regional contests. And so you can compete with both teams, solos or duets. And so I've competed across all 3 of those categories and been lucky enough to win some titles.
They've been around for a long time, and they've traveled quite a bit. Have you got a chance to travel with them at all?
No, they're going to Disney this year.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
well, that's all right.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
go to Disney.
Have you participated in the 4th of July parade with the group? Because I know
Oh,
every year
yeah.
they're in the parade, which is awesome.
In your research course, did you have to do a project?
Yes, I am currently working on the research part of it. Research is the second year of a 2-year course. The first year was AP seminar. And then in research, you get to choose your own research project. You form a question, and then you conduct the research around January.
So what's your topic?
I am looking at college admissions, and I'm looking to see.
How much you have to pay to get in?
I'm looking to see if there's a difference between where students are expecting to get in versus where they actually get in, and how well they're lining themselves up with the schools that they're applying to.
Wow. That's impressive.
There are a lot of factors. I was talking with somebody about Bowdoin yesterday, and Bowdoin's really small. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but I have a huge number of legacies, I think. And so that, you know, if you didn't know that, you might be disappointed, but the combination of things, it's really hard to get in there. Oh, I know Laura Lathan is looking to go.
He's looking there.
Yeah.
And you want to study biology statistics. What would you like to do with that, do you think?
I'm not sure. It's probably going to end up being one or the other. If I could find a way to combine them both, that would be great. But I like both math and science. And I was lucky enough to be able to take lots of classes involving both over the course of high school, so I'm excited.
That's excellent.
Okay. Well, in terms of academics, you certainly have challenged yourself and obviously done well. And you've been involved in about everything you can be involved in at the high school, so that's really great. And on behalf of the Rotary Club, I wish you the very best as you go on to that next level.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Our next student of the month is Anish Shah from Emerson House as well. Anish does AP Psychology, AP Statistics, AP Physics, AP Calculus. And he's also in the National Honor Society, Spanish Honor Society, and the Science Honor Society. He's on the CHS tennis team, Key Club, Interact Club. He was an MVC All-Conference player and regionally ranked USTA player. He enjoys reading, kayaking, mountain biking, and his aspirations is one day attending dental school. Congratulations, welcome.
Thank you.
You're the first student I've had in 5 years in dental school. What makes you want to do dental school? That's fantastic.
So actually, my mom was a dentist in India, and then when my parents moved over here, she wasn't able to go back to go to dental school. And so she's a hygienist right now, but over the last few summers, I've been going and shadowing at her office, and I've actually really liked the profession a lot. So I want to go into it.
That's awesome.
Where did you develop your tennis ability? Did you play in summer clubs or one of the area clubs?
Yeah, so when I started playing, I think it was 6th or 7th grade, and I was playing in the winter time at just some club. I think it was in Middleton, Mass. And then from there, I started playing over the summer more with more kids at a local country club. And then I ended up actually getting a job there, and now I coach younger kids there.
Do you play singles?
Yeah.
It's tough. You have to move a lot. That's why I don't play singles.
Doubles is fun too, though.
Yeah.
In terms of the classes you've taken in the 4 years at Chelmsford High School, is there any class or experience that stood out that really meant something to you?
Definitely Miss Collins' chemistry class sophomore year. I think it was the first class that really made me kind of have to self-study more than rely on what the teacher would teach in class. So in addition to what she would do in class, we'd have to go home and do a lot of work on our own. I think that really set me up well for junior year and this year, because I was ready to take on whatever the challenges that came.
Are you ringing bells for the Salvation Army on Saturday with Interact?
Not with Interact, but with NHS, we're actually organizing.
Yeah.
We're organizing an event.
Well, we're
the
praying
next
for
2
warm
weeks.
weather because it's
Yeah.
brutal.
That would be brutal.
But Interact kids we had trouble getting adults to sign up. Kids didn't have no trouble.
Oh, really?
There's a lot of volunteer stuff that goes on at the high school, and I think it's important to keep telling people that, because I don't think they realize. Somebody was on about the kids, the seniors shoveling seniors on Facebook.
Yeah.
Like we don't do anything. The kids are doing volunteer stuff all the time. What's financial literacy? Could you tell me about that? There are a lot of new courses or things with new names that I don't know. What kind of course was that?
I think it's a fun course. We learn a lot about what we're actually going to do with like our financial selves later in the future. Like the first part of the first semester we spent learning about banking and what types of accounts to hold and how to best grow your money over different periods of times. Right now we're working on learning about the stock market. So we have a simulator where we actually got to buy $25,000 worth of stock, and then using that, we're analyzing how it goes over the next few weeks.
Well, that's glad to hear that, because there's a lot of public discussion. We're always accused the kids don't know how to do a checkbook and everything. It's hard because in the early part of your life, nobody gives you that responsibility. I was talking to one of the kids at the swim banquet the other night. I thought $70,000 for college was all 4 years. And it's a big shock when you find out it's one.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really glad. That's great.
What did you invest your fake money in?
Actually, my most profitable stock is Chipotle.
Excellent.
Wow.
Shot up.
Do you help that profit at Drum Hill, or?
Definitely, yeah.
They could use the help. That's good.
Is there somebody you'd like to give credit to for really helping you to move along through the years?
I don't know anyone in particular, but I think everybody just as a whole at Chelmsford High School has been really helpful for me. Like like my guidance counselors, my teachers, they've always
Right.
like told me what to do and like helped me out when I needed help. So.
What schools are you looking at?
My top school is Bates College up in Maine, and then the rest are local ones down in Mass.
You a skier?
No, but I used to. I don't anymore.
My in-laws went there, and they weren't skiers. They are now. So it's good. It's very good. Well,
All right. Well, as I have said before to virtually everyone that comes through here, the honors that you're able to achieve in high school, the recognition, the things you've accomplished are outstanding. And I'm sure that as you go on, hopefully to be a dentist, you have the same kind of success. And on behalf of the Rotary Club, I congratulate you.
Thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Move to Hawthorne House. Our next student of the month is Paige Nolan. Paige Nolan also has 5 AP classes: AP Literature, AP Environmental Science, AP Psychology, Calculus, and she also takes honors common law and trial procedures. She's in the National Honor Society, National English Honor Society, National Spanish Honor Society. She's the captain of our tennis team. She plays on the field hockey team. She does mock trial. There's nothing she doesn't do. She's a National Merit, a commended student, and she also works in her part-time, it's like 1 hour, Sullivan Farms ice cream. Paige hopes to attend the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, or Villanova University, or BU, and she's undecided in her major, but hopes to attend graduate school and pursue a career in health sciences. Welcome. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. So health sciences, what would you be looking at this? That's quite a broad field.
Yeah, I've always tried to look to combine, I was thinking biology and statistics, and I was looking into biostatistics and epidemiology and things like that. My mom definitely inspired me to go into something health sciences, but I've been undecided, so
Good for you.
I'm applying that way too.
Did you know Kevin Tang?
No.
Class of what, 210?
210, yeah.
Anyway, he was with, just give you an idea of what you can do. He was with Doctors Without Borders in Cameroon, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And he gathered medical information because he wasn't a doctor, so that part didn't go, but so that they would know what supplies they needed, where to get them, and all that kind of
That's
thing.
really interesting.
And so he'd also been in Peace Corps before that, I think. So those are areas where there's tremendous opportunity to get background anyways.
Yeah, that is cool.
If you ever have a chance. The only thing is, I got to tell you this, the main source of protein, the grubs that grow on the trees this big, and he lost about 15 pounds. And Kevin only weighed about 16 pounds, so it was tough. Is there anyone that you'd like? Oh, I wanted to ask you about mock trial. Mock trial comes up a lot here, but we don't always hear much about it. Could you just tell people what that involves?
Yeah, basically we are the lawyers and the witnesses. It's kind of like acting, and we write all of our questions and get the answers, and we just pretty much figure out and act out a whole court case. And it's really interesting because it really helps you improve public speaking and analysis skills, and it's just a very different type of class you can be involved in where you're applying the knowledge you've learned from your other core classes versus just learning like new material.
It's one of those classes, talk about stand and deliver with that phrase from the movies, but there's no place to hide.
Yeah,
Either you
no,
produce
definitely.
it,
You're
you don't.
definitely in the spotlight.
Were you a witness or a lawyer? Or?
I did witness my freshman year, but
Yeah.
then I did lawyer for the real case last year. Not freshman year, junior year, sorry. And then this year I've been doing cross examinations, which is
Great.
fun.
Yeah,
'cause
sure.
you're on the offense.
And you're the captain of our tennis team. Yes. What are the prospects this spring?
We're not sure yet. I need to hold a meeting for that actually, but it's definitely fun because it's one thing to be part of a team, but another to be able to rally the team, and it's really cool for leadership experience and everything.
Did you lose a lot of seniors last year?
We lost 2 last year, so not as bad. The year before we lost 8, I think,
Yeah.
which that was a tough.
lot.
That was a tough hit for us. It was sad, yeah. But yeah.
Do you imagine playing field hockey or tennis in college?
I'm not
Either
sure.
Intramural now?
Yeah, I would love to play intramural or club. I mean, I could look into tennis, but I've played since I was 5 years old, so I might want to do like club field hockey in college just to change it up a little bit. Yeah.
What about UNC Chapel Hill? The other schools we hear a lot, BU, Villanova. You
Yeah.
know, a lot of UNC Chapel Hill.
I know, I thought it was interesting because it was different. A couple people recommended it to me, and I just looked into it. I haven't toured in person yet. I would hope to if I got accepted, but it just looked beautiful, and they have a really good health sciences school. It's like the top public school in the nation, I discovered, but it just, everything about it kind of just intrigued me, and it was different.
Is there any class or experience you've had in the 4 years here that you really enjoyed or you'll remember fondly?
I've always loved my English class. I had Mr. VB last year and this year, and for writing for college too, so I've had him for many times, but it definitely is a different style class too, like the discussion based, and just you're really encouraged to think deeply, which is kind of cool.
Excellent.
Okay. On behalf of the Rotary Club, I want to congratulate you on your achievements and wish you the very best. And you can't go wrong with the schools you're looking at. You'll be fine.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congrats. Our next student of the month is from Hawthorne House. It is Matthew Waterman. Matthew is currently enrolled in AP Calculus, AP Physics, AP Spanish, AP Computer Science, and AP Literature. He's a member of the National Honor Society, the Coding Club, and the school newspaper. Matthew is the co-president of the International Relations Club and the vice president of Student Council, which hosted our pep rally last week, which was a huge success, which we'll talk about, and obviously the entire week. He's a National Merit Commended Student, recipient of the Excellence in Spanish Award. He is an Eagle Scout and does a lot of volunteering. St. Paul's Soup Kitchen, Kay's Kitchen, and then Merrimack Valley Food Bank. Matthew plans to major in computer science and is considering MIT, Tufts, or Olin College. Kind of a short list of schools there. They're very difficult. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I think you should be a chef with all of these
No, I was gonna say, food. I'm hungry.
Yeah, food service is a lot of what I do. I think it's really important, especially with just the need in our greater community, especially in Lowell, with how many people go hungry. So I try and do a lot for that. I raised $4,000 for the food bank to buy turkeys. That's like my...
You were just in the paper about that, right?
Yeah.
How'd you do that?
Congratulations.
A lot of time outside of stores.
Yeah.
Mostly it's just, you just stand there with a bucket and you ask people, hey, do you want to support the food bank? Mostly it's a no, but sometimes, sometimes you get people who are really generous.
Great.
So it's crazy just the amount that you can do, just like 10, 20 hours outside of stores. You can just help so many people.
4,000 is a lot.
That's awesome.
It sure is.
And I'm sure they, it was well received this past week for the holiday.
Yeah.
Rewinding a week or plus with all the snow and holiday time, talk to us about Spirit Week and what Student Council's role is, and you as the vice president, like what your role is in the entire thing and the planning and stuff like that.
Yeah, so we really do most of it with Spirit Week. So we have obviously the Spirit points. So we don't decide. The only thing we really don't do is deciding what the Spirit days are. But other than that, we count it, we total up, we sold kazoos and scrunchies.
I heard the kazoos.
Yeah, we ran. We collected stuff from the food drives and the winter clothing drives. So we add that all up, and then really during the event, it's mostly just announcing people and letting the whole school really get hyped up for the Thanksgiving game. So
it was a great pep rally. It was a great week.
Yeah,
so
excellent.
if people haven't thanked you for your efforts, thank you for those. We appreciate them greatly.
Exactly.
my pleasure. It was a lot of fun.
Good. International Relations Club went to UML a couple weeks ago.
Yes, we
Tell us
did.
about that experience. I know some of our kids placed, got first, second place, different things like that. I guess what was the role? What was the purpose of the trip?
Yes,
and
so
how was it?
that was a crisis committee. So the whole point of Model UN is you are playing a delegate from a country trying to solve like a real world issue. And so we went to this one, which was a crisis conference. So every committee was like, it's a crisis. So we had like the Cuban Missile Crisis. So it's with Model UN, it's more slower paced and you're trying to solve a problem. But with Crisis, it's really fast and dynamic, so it's a lot of fun. For mine, I was in the Death of Stalin, so it was historical. So yeah, it's a wide variety of stuff. It's pretty great.
It's very competitive too. I used to do that 100 years ago, and we went to Harvard, among others, and teams would fly in from California. First of all, that's a major commitment.
Yeah.
And then they all had their own laptops and everything, and my kids are looking at it like, wow. But it is, for them to receive that honor, it's very, very competitive.
Yeah, it's wild. We last year we took best delegation at UML. We're hoping to do that again this year. We've got a lot of strong delegates, not only seniors, but throughout every grade. So
That's excellent.
When is that event?
that is in the spring.
Okay, so you get some
sometime in
time.
April. Yeah, so we have time to prepare.
Excellent. Your Eagle Scout project, what was it? Obviously, I know when you see Eagle Scout, something came along with it. You accomplished, a lot of great things. But what was your kind of capstone project with that?
Yeah, thank you. I built an office for the same food bank, so they had just had 2 in a row, and so I just put 2 walls, built them an office, and then put some shelving up to store food. So that was great, and they've made really good use of it. When I first talked to them about it, they weren't sure what they were going to do. They wanted to expand their staff, but now they hired a volunteer coordinator. And so now she's in that office, so it really went to good use pretty much right away. So I'm very pleased with that.
That's
a lot of work though, carting drywall in and out of freight elevators all day.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true. How long did it take you to put it together?
The total work for everybody combined was 250 hours, and it was 60 to 70 of my own.
Wow.
Computer science. Have you kind of drawn an interest to that while in high school or before high school or combination?
A little bit before. I know it started probably in elementary school with Scratch, with the education program there, and then going up to classes like AP Computer Science, and that's what my parents do, and coding team. So it's kind of perfect storm of what I want to do.
That's
I find it really
excellent.
fascinating.
Well, we've seen a lot of different interests today, and it's really great that shows the diversity of opportunities at our school. And you've done a great job both in the school day and beyond that, which I think is worthy of particular note.
Thank you.
And on behalf of the Rotary Club, I want to congratulate you and wish you the very best.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Our next student of the month is from Whittier House. It's Banmai Huynh. Banmai is in AP Literature, AP French, AP Psychology, AP Calculus. Also does an independent study in economics. She's a member of the National Honor Society, the National English Honor Society, the National French Honor Society, serving as the treasurer. She's the Freshman Mentor Board Secretary, so on the panel of advisors, participates in indoor track, AP Scholar Award, Freshman Mentor, which I mentioned. She's a buddy at the Miracle League of Massachusetts, works at Market Basket, who's doing it for quite some time, tutor at Choice Education Services. In her free time, she likes dancing, reading, writing, and volunteering. Banmai plans to study accounting and obtaining a master's degree with the hopes of eventually being a CPA. Welcome. Banmai, talk to us a little about the mentor program and your instrumental role as a secretary for the program. I see it in action every day. Obviously, you're in Whittier House with Ms. Orsini, but it's a very dynamic group. And kind of what's your role specifically, and how's the group work?
I don't think I have a role specifically. The entire board, we really work together, and we're an awesome team. I have like the best time with the people on the board, and it's super cool because a lot of them I wouldn't normally hang out with outside of school because we all have these different interests and hobbies, but it's super fun to like all hang out and do this one thing together. But I think it's a really big part of Chelmsford High, especially for freshmen, because I feel like they can be really daunted about this big school with 3 floors and all these different wings and all these different people. So I think it's really cool how they can have that like kind of mentor, obviously, that they can look up to and kind of rely on for figuring things out and finding their own path.
When you were a freshman, did you have a good experience with the program?
Yeah, I really did. My mentor, was always there. She was always there for me to reach out, and we always talked. I felt like we had a good amount of stuff in common, and I felt like I was really comfortable with reaching out with her and kind of figuring out things and looking to her for help along the way.
That's great. And obviously, now you're returning the favor as
Yeah.
a senior on the board. Buddy at the Miracle League of Massachusetts. I have no idea what that means. Kind of give us, what is that? And it sounds like a great program, but give us more information.
Yeah, so it's a special needs baseball league in Acton. I used to live in Acton when I was really young, so I knew about it from my mom. She had seen it, and it's at Nara Park. It's every Saturday in the fall and spring, and so I go, and I know nothing about baseball, but I go and I'm partnered up with a different athlete every time. And so during the entire like hour, 15-minute game, I help them. I make sure they're being safe. I make sure they're hitting the ball, running around the bases. They don't keep track. It's not competitive, but kids have so much fun with it, and it's super fun. And you see those kids, and they're obviously having the best time of their lives despite whatever situation they're in.
They
And
probably
it's
look
just,
forward to that every week.
yeah, it's super great.
Is it like a specific need, or is it a range? Because I
It's-
know there's like blind
yeah.
leagues for things, or just kind of everything all together.
So they take anyone, I don't know what their minimum age is, but they go all the way up to adults, and it's for anything.
just-
It's the field isn't made of grass, it's like a track material, so they can even accommodate for people in wheelchairs. It's just the best time.
That's so neat.
great.
Very good. French Honor Society, treasurer. I know, it's not a huge group, but what's your role with that? And then I guess have you been involved with any of like the trips through the French programs, or that the French teachers run, stuff like that? The world language piece.
Yeah, so we're not a huge group. We're like 30 kids, but it's still super fun. I work along with all the other officers, and obviously as the treasurer, I handle all the money and stuff. So I know for our last fundraiser, which was for St. Jude's Children's Hospitals, we raised about $150, which was our first fundraiser as this group. So I think that was a pretty good starting point. And so we're kind of pushing towards, spreading the culture, which is super fun. Culture's always been a big part of my life, and it's really nice to kind of push for this new culture that I've been introduced to.
Excellent.
Dancing takes a lot of time. Is that something you spend a lot of time on?
I used to be more into it when I was younger. I think now it's more, I don't do it competitively, so now it's more kind of like that stress-free thing that I do. It's nice to just go somewhere and not worry about being great at it, and just like hanging out with people I don't get to normally see. So I have a lot of fun with it.
I can understand. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Where are you applying to next year?
I'm applying to Bentley. I also applied to Clark University. I'm hoping to go there for data analytics. And then as a safety, UMass Boston.
Excellent.
Well, congratulations. Again, the diversity of activities and interests is so obvious. And I think the background you have coming out of Chelmsford and Chelmsford High School, a lot of directions you can go in. And best of luck.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yep.
Our last student for the month of December is Alex Lawton. Alex is currently enrolled in AP Chemistry, AP Physics, AP Research, AP Literature. Also has independent study for student government because he is the class of 2020 vice president. He's a member of the National Honor Society. National Honor Society, English Honor Society, Spanish Honor Society, and Science Honor Society. A lot of honor societies. Member of the varsity soccer team, the ski team, which started their practices yesterday. And then also a member of the Start School Later Committee. He's a freshman mentor, and Alex plans to study chemical engineering with the possible of earning a PhD in the future. Welcome.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Start School Later Committee,
Yeah.
and I'm going to assume that's with AP Research or no?
No, not
Okay,
this
so
year.
Tell us about the committee, then we'll talk about AP Research.
Well, a lot of people do know Carlos Bajar Garcia, and it was his sort of research capstone project. But it continued a lot past that. We meet after school still, conducting our own research. This is like literature-based, reaching out to schools that are trying to push the school start time later than 8 o'clock is what it's been recommended by doctors and health professionals. So what we're trying to do is actively inform ourselves by getting the best information possible, and also spreading awareness and trying to start the possible conversation here in Chelmsford.
Awesome. So if you're doing all the research, or continuing that research, what are you doing for AP Research on top of this research?
For AP Research, which I really love, I am going more of a science route, which most people don't do in the class, but that really is my passion. So what I'm focusing on is working in a laboratory, trying to optimize this process of creating a sort of miracle compound. And of course, I don't have access to this end miracle compound. It's just a very small step along the way. But I'll be in the laboratory running high-power chromatography just day in and day out, seeing what I can do to like optimize every little bit of it. I just really like it. Yeah.
Good.
What schools are you looking at?
Schools, I would say my top choice is Northwestern University for chemical engineering, again, just because at Northwestern they really have this focus in biological chemical engineering, which I've sort of found my passion in. That sort of has to do with looking into these recombinant bacterias, which ties back to my AP research project, and applying chemical processes to it to maybe extract solutions or do anything. And the benefits of this could really be stuff from new age fuel to like rechargeable or renewable batteries, you know, to really improve the world.
That's awesome. Vice President, things are probably, I don't say quiet, but you know, not very active right now. But obviously, in 3 or 4 months, it's going to get pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I guess how are you preparing you and the other advisors, the other members, for the kind of the end for 2020?
Well, you're definitely right. It is quiet right now. It seems like every other week it's either like something's on fire or it's super quiet. And heading towards the end of the year when we have all of these senior week events, which everyone's looking forward to, we heard from the officers last year that we don't really have to stress that much because we're doing all the work right now. Everything should be set in place by the time it gets to that. We just have to just watch it run smoothly, which we're really excited for. But we're just trying to do as much as possible right now. So that
We're on board for the smooth operation.
Yeah,
That's what we're
exactly,
looking
I
for.
like that.
You're good.
Smooth is great. Excuse me.
Well, just listening to some of the terminology for your science
Yeah,
background,
exactly.
I think it's way beyond where I ever got, so that's not saying much. But it's obvious that you're a great student, and when you go on to Northwestern or wherever, I'm sure you'll make yourself and Chelmsford proud. So on behalf of the Rotary Club, I wish you the very best.
Well, thank you very much.
Congratulations. This concludes December's edition of Lions Pride, where we celebrated our December Students of the Month. Join us in January when we celebrate January Students of the Month, and we'll be here on behalf of our host, Mr. Al Thomas, and our co-host, Mr. McIsaac from Whittier House. I want to say thank you, and we'll see you next month. Wow. There was